Hey guys, Eddie back with Couch Talk. Welcome back to the show. If it's your first time with us, welcome to the show. Guys, please excuse this thing on my nose. I'm still a little bit under the weather, trying to be able to breathe as best I can. But we're gonna keep on chopping wood because you know what? People that try to make our country worse every day do not take a day off, so neither will we. I'm gonna give you my first impressions over the midterm elections, which of course are still going. I think some of the states have these really backwards counting practices. I mean, honestly, I think that for better or worse, we ought to be able to wrap this thing up within a matter of a week or two. But it looks like Georgia's headed to a runoff, which could take months. It looks like Arizona is going to take a good amount of time. I'm not sure why. You know, as many have noticed, even 100 years ago, working by candlelight and by hand with no assistance of any kind of electronic equipment at all, they were managed to wrap it all up by the end of the week. So I'm not sure what's taking so long. Part of the problem is that I guess they let some of these mail-in ballots be dropped off day of. I don't think that's a very good practice. I think they should do it probably more like North Carolina, where you have to have them in advance. I don't see why that would be very hard. But, you know, I freely admit that I don't have a good answer right now for like a perfect ballot system. Obviously, you want to give everybody a chance to get a vote in who is able to. And yet, I find I have never truly been at any serious disadvantage to try to get my own vote in. I've never really had any trouble, even on months where I've had to work, you know, weeks where I've had to work and haven't really gotten a chance to get much time off. I was still always able to do it if I wanted to, and I haven't always wanted to. But my first impressions are these. Beforehand, I know we were told that it was shaping up to be a red hurricane, and it ended up being more like a red drizzle, light rain, which, for better or worse, may have been the best thing. I don't think that it makes much difference whether or not the Republicans took, you know, like if they swept the House and the Senate. I mean, assuming they weren't going to get 2/3 majority, which it was very unlikely that this was going to happen, then I don't think it makes a difference, right? I mean, I think as long as they're able to get even one House seat and one Senate seat, then at least the legislature measures that they're able to put on the table will see the light of day. Maybe not for very long before they get the veto signature, but they will at least be placed on the desk. I think ultimately that's all we could truly have hoped for in a situation where spending is pretty much out of control and the world is heading for World War III. I think that's all we can really do is get our objections on paper. Now, as far as the specific results, I think Florida is kind of like the bright spot in the Republican campaign strategy. I think conversely, a lot of the Trump endorsed candidates performed less than expected, which is, in my mind, a great thing. As most of you know, who know me well, know I don't really care for Trump much. He's a very polarizing figure, very divisive, which I think is intrinsically bad for politics. Not always, but he's more like a hammer, where I think politics is often requires the use of a scalpel. Not that his ideologies, you know, aren't necessarily in line with some of mine. Some of the things I think Trump comes up with, it's just to get the Republican nomination or the Democrat. I think he was Democrat for a while. I think he was a couple of other things over the course of his career. I think he'll just take about whatever he can get. So someone that's so opportunistic and yet so brazen when he finally gets the seat is kind of an awkward combination. But that having been said, the fact that Trumpian era politicians seem to perform so poorly this time, whereas DeSantis obviously performed so well, to my mind, that may be the best thing that could happen. Maybe that will encourage the Republicans to leap off the Trump horse and get on a horse that maybe races a little bit better. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know what you think below. But I think that Trump is going to be a non-starter for many people in the world, and I think that we need to get away from somebody who's so blatantly divisive. I think that is not the art of politics. Like I've mentioned on this channel a couple times, politics is the art of coming together, not the art of separating. Right? We already know where people are. We want to bridge that gap. And I'm not saying that DeSantis isn't polarizing occasionally as well, but it's just one of those things where you have to have somebody who's got that kind of political acumen to start opening those conversations up, opening those dialogues up. Speaking of people who are not ready to open up dialogues, one of the things that struck me after this campaign took place is Republicans are probably going to take the House, maybe the Senate, and yet when Biden was questioned the following morning about, his poor approval ratings, about the fact that the exit poll said 75% of the country thinks it's heading in the wrong direction. They're like, what are you going to change? He's like, absolutely nothing, which to me is kind of a sucker punch to anybody who took the time to go out and vote, because we spoke with our voices. We've shown him that what he is trying to accomplish is not necessarily working out for us. And he's like, well, screw you all, and I'm going to do it anyway. And not only that, he said, moreover, that the reason that he's not going to change anything is because you, the American people, don't understand what he's trying to do. You don't have the mental capacity to get it. So, you got me, Biden. I don't know what you're trying to shoot for, but whatever it seems to be, it's not working. So, who knows? But, maybe it was his, maybe that was just another Bidenism. Maybe that was just like a gaffe. Or maybe this kind of like partial success by Republicans has emboldened him and made him supernaturally overconfident. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. Let me know what you think below. I do think, though, that we have some opportunities here. I think that, number one, the Republicans should look at this, see that the media has been basically controlled by the liberals, and should do something to at least even the tables in that regard. Because I think it doesn't matter what you say as a politician if your word doesn't ever get out. And the coverage has just been so overwhelmingly in support of Democrats that it bewilders me why the Republicans haven't addressed this flaw to this point. Hopefully they see the results today and see that perhaps something needs to be done. Honestly, I think that when it comes to elections, everybody should be kind of on an even footing. Like you see in Arizona, that they make special rules to carve out for Katie Hobbs just so that she doesn't have to appear on a debate, but yet still gets airtime, which is supposed to be a blatant, illegal effect as per the clean elections situation there. But, I think that there are many situations where Republicans will get all the negative press, and the only place where you will see negative press of any kind of liberal Democrat politician is basically on Fox News, which is not an equal setting. So I think that that's something that I think they just need to even the footstools on. Let me know what you guys think below, and hopefully we can get off Trump and move to somebody who can bring the Red Party in a better direction. I'll catch y'all next time.